So this being the beginning of school and all the sports, I want to introduce a local official, a sports official. Actually, Carl is our Upshur County Republican chairman, Carl Byers, but he is also a referee, an official at lots of school games. I didn't know that until after I knew him as Republican chairman. I was at a basketball game, and he didn't make any bad calls, so we're good. Anyway, I'm going to let Carl tell a little bit about himself and introduce his guests. I know them all, but he'll do a much better job than me because I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about Carl's background until he came here and got heavily involved in Upshur County politics. Carl.
Hello, again, my name is Carl Byers. I am the chairman of the Republican Party of Upshur County. And I was elected, or re-elected actually, this March, barely, by 51% of the vote. And so it was a close election. And so I'm serving my second term as your chairman for the Republican Party. My wife is here today. I wanted to, she is also involved. She is the chairman of the Hospitality Committee for the Republican Party. I have the vice chairman of our party, Stacy McMahon. And then we also have a local reporter as well. And then thank you, Brandon Dodd. I've met over the years, politics and that, and I guess, like I said, I saw you a few times at some sporting events. I am a retired school teacher and a coach, and so I just kind of transitioned from being a retired teacher and coach into being a sports official, and love it. I do a few college games, and I do mostly high school and junior high and other games as well. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Republican Party and what's its structure. As most of you probably know, we have a national party, and it basically it governs all of the the national elections. They take care of the national elections that are going on and take care of all the stuff that goes on nationally. We also have a state party that does the very same thing, takes care of things from a state situation, from a state elections and candidates and so on. Our state party also governs the county parties, which each county in Texas, we do have a party, actually a party in each county. Some of those parties are pretty small. In some counties, only one individual makes up that party, and so. But we do have a county party in every county in this state. We hold conventions from national level to state, and then also the county level and precinct level. So it goes all the way down to your voting precinct, where we hold a convention so that various resolutions. So if you have let's say you want a law passed, and you want basically that the Rotary Club is to be in every city, make that mandatory by law. The first thing you would do would go to your precinct and create a resolution about that, and then carry it on to as it goes to the county, as it goes to the state, and as it goes to the nation. And so that's what a lot of what our Republican Party does as far as legal. We also support our candidates. The Republican Party tries to educate on political issues, on the political processes of our government. I've had a couple of people over the years say, well, I'm not involved in politics, and that's fine, but I'm going to say politics is involved in you. I promise you, there are things that politics, that are involved in politics, that's going to affect your life. And whether you are involved in it or not, it is going to affect your life. It's going to affect the lives of your children, your family members, throughout, your various family members, your friends, and so on and so forth. And so, at the very least, I really do want to encourage everybody, please get out and vote for everything that you can possibly vote for. Because if you don't, you're letting other people make decisions for you. And me personally, I don't like anybody making decisions for me. I like to make my own decisions. And so I really would, like I said, encourage, get involved in some way. At the very least, get out and vote. Some of the things that I do want to kind of want to talk about, since I have been chairman of the Republican Party, have increased the voter participation in both the Republican Party primaries and in our general election. In Upshur County, since I have been chairman, we have gone up from 82% voting Republican to voting 86%. And so I consider that a pretty good accomplishment. I have opened a temporary headquarters, though that hadn't been done in 20 years, so that citizens could come and get literature and signs and so on and so forth, so that they could support the candidates of their choice. And so there have been some things that I have done that have not been done in the past, and so I'm very excited about doing some things. I am excited about coming here and speaking to you. I want to thank the Rotary Club. Thank you very much for this privilege of coming and speaking to you. The majority of what I do want to talk about is elections. Elections are extremely important. They are the foundation of our democracy. We have elections that we vote on people to represent us in the various forms of government. And participation in those elections is vital. If we don't have participation in those elections, then we have problems coming up, and serious problems coming up in our government, because the chances are, if you don't participate and our voting is low, then a candidate who is not fit to be a candidate, who's not fit to rule or to govern in that particular spot, can be elected. And that is how many dictators over in many countries, that is how they become dictators, is because the interest in government has non-existent, and they just walk into power and they shut everything down, and democracy goes away. And we need to make sure that we don't allow that to happen in the United States. And elections is like I said, that's how we keep things going. That's how we form our government. That's how we decide who's going to be our representatives in government, is through these elections. We usually have an election for president every 4 years. We have an election for president we have an election for governor every 4 years. We have an election for our Congress, our congressmen, and our state representatives. They are elected every 2 years. Myself also and party officials are elected every 2 years as well. And so we have elections quite a bit. We also have what is called a constitutional election here in Texas, where we vote on constitutional amendments to be added to our Texas Constitution. And if you don't know, that the Texas Constitution is the largest constitution in the world. we have more constitutional amendments than any other constitution in the world. And so whether that is a good thing or a bad thing, that is a fact. And so part of that reason is because we do have a regular constitutional, usually every 2 years we have a constitutional amendment election. And here the last time we had a constitutional amendment, the voter participation was really heavy, because there was one thing on that constitutional amendment, and that was to slash our property taxes, and that happened, and so for a lot of people, I don't think it happened for everybody, but a lot of people had their property taxes go down, and so there was a big interest in that. I do want to talk about elections here in Upshur County. Now we have the way you can vote is we do have 15. Actually we have 19 precincts that make up Upshur County. So Upshur County is divided into 19 voting precincts. We have 15 actual voting places, and some of those precincts are combined with other precincts. For instance, precinct 17 and precinct 20 are combined together. Precinct 14 and 13 are combined together. And precinct 5 and precinct 18 are combined together. And so that makes the 15 voting places that we have for the election. We have a unique thing here in Upshur County, which is you actually don't have to vote in your precinct. You may go and vote anywhere in any of those 15 places, and your ballot will be for that precinct. So if you were in precinct, if you're in precinct 1, you may go to precinct 5 and go there, and your ballot will be brought up, and your precinct 1 ballot will be brought up, and then you can vote for what you need to vote for in precinct 1, even though it is in precinct 5. So we have what is called county-wide voting election. We are one of very few counties that do that. Most of the counties that do this are your big counties, Dallas, Harrison, Bexar County, Travis County, and so on. So there are some smaller counties. We're one of them that actually have county-wide elections. So as we have early voting, that's 2 weeks of early voting. We have voting on Saturday and Sunday. By law, we have to. We have to have at least 1 week of early voting on a Saturday and a Sunday. So we will have that. I do want to, the importance of having a political party, both the Republican and the Democrat, is that we pick the people who are going to work those elections. So as chairman of the Republican Party, I have a list of people that's going to work as Republicans in those elections. And then my counterpart, Winifred Jackson, who is the Democratic chairman, she picks her people, her workers that she wants to work the election. And so from those lists will come the various workers. Now, the jobs that are there is the number one job is the election judge, the precinct judge or election judge. That person is in charge of that precinct, and that person is, in reality, I guess is what I want to say, in all intents and purposes, the king of that. So basically, if they say this, then that's this. They have the power and the authority to dictate almost anything within that election, as long as they don't violate the law. And so your judge is really a very powerful individual. They actually have by law the same power as a district judge. and so to make decisions. So it is important on who appoints those judges. Here in Upshur County, because we have such an overwhelming voter percentage in our county, we win every precinct, and so who wins that precinct, the party who wins that precinct, gets to pick the judge for that precinct. And so I get to pick that judge. Your chairman gets to pick the judge of who it is, and then your chairman will turn in a list of judges to the administrator, elections administrator, and then that's the judges. So it's a very important that we have a political party in this county, because those judges decide, and those judges are their first line of making sure that there's no fraud going on in our system. And so the next are our clerks. By law, there is to be at least one Republican clerk and one Democratic clerk. That doesn't always happen because the Democrats have a hard time getting people to work as on that side. So we do have some precincts. You go in and we'll have some precincts. They're just Republicans there because they're not able to get a Democratic worker in there. And so it makes it, there is a, at least if you're on the Democratic side, you don't always have your side represented at one of our precincts, because it is pretty hard to get someone to work. And we do offer, we do pay. It pays not very much. We pay somewhere between $9 and $12. The parties itself, for our primary, we pay $12. The county pays $9. I had pushed our county commissioners to raise that to $12, and I believe they're going to. And so I think within the next one of their next meetings, they intend to raise the pay for our judges and our election workers to $12 an hour. We use, as far as the voting mechanisms, we do. Many people have come to me and said we don't have a paper ballot. That is false. We do have a paper ballot. We do use machines, and you will take your paper ballot and you will slip that paper ballot into your machine. You will vote on that thing on that machine, and you will, as soon as you're finished, you'll press print ballot, and that machine will print down everybody you voted for on that ballot. So we do have a paper ballot to go back to in case there is a question about that election. We can go back and we can count paper ballots. We can count what's put on that paper ballot. It is that paper ballot. It is, believe it or not, it is not ink that is put on there. I was thinking, but it is some kind of special compound that is specially made for elections only, that is put on there, so that it makes it harder to copy, or to make it harder to be able to have a fraud. If you just have a regular paper ballot, you've got regular paper, you mark over with a pencil, and it's so much easier. It is so much easier to cheat and create fraud with a paper ballot than it is for us to have fraud with those machines. One of the criticisms is that you can hack that machine and through the internet here in Texas, and I'm not going to speak for any other state. I am going to speak for Texas and Upshur County. The machines, by law, by Texas law, cannot be accessible to the internet. In other words, there's no way, there's no possible way those machines can be connected to the internet at all. And so I've had one individual come and say, well, I know what it is. I can hack that machine. I said, well, that's great. I have a toaster at home. If you can hack my toaster, and all that toaster does is, go down, cook toast and come up. But if you can hack my toaster to do something other than what it's supposed to do, please do. And then maybe I might believe you. But in Texas, those machines by law, if an administrator was to buy a machine that was capable of being hooked up to the internet, that administrator could go to prison for 15 years. I don't believe we have administrators in Texas that want to risk a 15-year sentence so that they can have a machine that's hooked up to the internet. And so our elections here in Upshur County, our elections here in Texas are pretty safe. I can't talk to you about other counties or other states because I am not responsible. I don't have the data or whatever for those states. But here in Texas, I know the laws. Part of my job is to know election law, which is about this big, and I know it. And so that's part of my job. And so if you have a question about election law, give me an answer, or ask me the question. I'll be glad to talk to you about what our laws are as far as pertaining to our elections. The only thing that I see as being a problem with fraud in the state of Texas is our absentee voting. That is done by mail. There is no ID involved. And so the possibility of fraud, and I know there is actually probably some fraud going on with our absentee voting, but there is just not anything at this point we can do about it. I think there might be, I think the state legislatures are trying to look at some possible way of being able to have some kind of an ID involved in that. I don't know. But the absentee voting, the law is pretty clear. Unless you cannot vote by mail unless you are 65 years of age or older, or you will be out of the state or out of the county during the entire election process, and that means from early voting to the election day. So that would include people who are students that are going to school in another area. That would be your military. That would be people who will work for the government, maybe the State Department that are in another country. That would be missionaries in another country. Those type of people definitely they have to vote by mail. So we do have to have that system in place to some degree. And so that's those are the things that we are trying to do as Republican Party is we're trying to eliminate as much fraud as possible. In the past, I have been an election judge for nearly 30 years. I have worked in Dallas County and various other counties. I grew up here in Upshur County, and my first time to vote was here in Upshur County in 1980. And so I voted in the Republican primary at that time when I was 18 years old, and I was one of 22 people who voted in that primary. And so that tells you how the Republican Party has grown over the years. And so it has, and we've become a party that has been almost nothing in the state of Texas to the majority party in Texas. I have seen some fraud go on. And the paper ballots are usually the easiest way to get those paper ballots You can make those, you can have a printer print up those paper ballots that look exactly like the paper ballots that you have at the election. They go in, they pre-mark them, and they walk in, and they'll do one or two things. They'll either bribe the judge, or they'll wait until somebody is too busy and people can't see them, and they'll stuff those things in the ballot box. There's no way you can tell the difference between which is the original ballot and which is a fake ballot. And judges and courts have tried to do that, and what they end up doing is they just have to count all of them, including the fake ballots. And so the machines have taken away that. So the machines, you can't do that. You can go in and you stuff those ballots all you want, but when we come back and we look, the machine's got to count. We've got the ballots that are printed out. Those ballots that are printed out must match what's on those machines. And so if you've got extra ballots in there, guess what? That's how we decide those are not legitimate ballots. And so there are, we have improved, we really have improved the way we have done elections in the last 30 years or so, even 40, 50 years. I've been amazed about how, especially in other states, not necessarily in Texas, how somebody will be a Republican their entire life, and then when they die, they start voting Democrat. And so I've just been amazed about that. And so, but here in Texas, we're pretty good about that. We do have people who are there, the good, honest people. The people that I assign to these to be my judges, to be my poll workers. These are people that I have vetted, and these are people that I know that are going to do a job, and these people I know that are not going to take bribes. And so, and myself included, there's not enough money for me to break the law and to break God's law, and for me to stand before God and say, because I took a bribe. I don't ever want to stand before God knowing that I've taken a bribe. And so I want to thank you for the opportunity of coming here and speaking. This has been a privilege. I hope that if any of you've got a question, I'll be more than happy to take a question. Yes, sir.
When you receive that mailed in ballot, do you convert that to a machine entry, or do you just keep that as it is?
No, sir, it's not. It stays the way it is. So we just add it to the count on the. We do add it to the count on the machine, but we do not convert it into the machine itself. And so when we've gone back and done, matter of fact, we did a couple of precincts. We went and took the hand ballots, counted them, took what was on the machine, the disc on the machine. We take that disc out and we look, and it comes out on the screen. And there was one vote that was different. There was one vote that was wrong. That came out in the results, and that was because of a mail-in ballot. So whoever put that into the system put it in wrong, put in the mail-in ballot wrong, whether they did on purpose or whether they did. Most likely did it by accident. But that was it. That precinct out of 400 votes, we found one, and it was not because of the machine. It was because of paper ballot. It was because of the mail-in ballot that was being. Smith County, I know, Smith County did a similar, and all the counties really do that. They go back and they test to see what's a county. They'll pick a precinct, they'll go through it. Smith County went through it, and out of 3,000 in that precinct, so they have bigger precincts than we do. So out of 3,000 in that precinct, again, they found one ballot that was wrong, and again, it was a mail-in ballot. not the ballots from the machine. Yes, sir.
On the national convention, how do they determine what delegates get to go to the national convention?
From the so here in Upshur County, we have 19 precincts, and so we have 19 precinct conventions here. So you will go to your precinct convention, and we advertise that in the newspaper. I advertise it on my Facebook page. We have a Facebook page. It is the Republican Party of Upshur County, Texas. So make sure you put Texas at the end, otherwise you will get a false party. There are others out there that there's about 5 or 6 Upshur County Republican parties, but they're not real. They're not real websites. They're there to do whatever false stuff that they're there to do. But what happens is that you'll go to that precinct convention, and if you have some resolutions that you want to be law or whatever it is, sometimes they have resolutions that they want to recognize an individual for, and so on and so forth. If they want to carry that, want the state legislature to honor them as a certain individual or something like that. So you start out at your precinct convention, and then you, at that precinct convention, you're going to elect people to go to your county convention as delegates. So out of that, you elect people from your county convention out to be delegates. So you go to your county convention, and out of that county convention, you will elect delegates from there to go to your state convention. And then you'll go to state convention, and out of that state convention, you will elect delegates to go to your national convention. I really would love, if you would love to be a part of those convention processes, it is really easy. Come to our precinct conventions. They last about 50 minutes. They last just under an hour. And so they're pretty quick. It's easy. Everybody that wants to move up to the county convention always moves up. We always have more than enough position spots to move up to be elected. Where it starts to be where people don't get elected as a delegate is when you start going from the county convention to the state, and from the state to because it gets very thin. We're only allowed 25 delegates to our state convention from Upshur County. And then, of course, we can have 25 alternates as well. So there's a possibility of sending 50 people to our state convention. We elected at our convention 45 people. So we actually had 5 positions still left open. We elected 45 people to send on to our state convention. And then at our state convention, our senatorial district, which is Senatorial District 1, we're only allowed to send 3 people from our senatorial district, which is 19 counties. So 19 counties are represented in that senatorial district. We send 3 national delegates. And then the statewide, I think it's 255. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
When the process or the mail-in ballots tallied, or the start?
When they come in.
Okay.
The moment that they come in, they start.
So in Texas, they'll have the mail-in tally before the actual day of the election, or
the results will not be known. Period.
Okay.
You won't know. You will not know the results until election night, until after 7 o'clock election night. So no results. Period. Whether it be mail-in ballots or not, they will not be. It will not be until after 7 o'clock on election.
So to clarify, they'll be counted before then, but they won't be announced
They
until
will
then.
not be announced. I believe your uncle, Melvin Dodd, is the.
You didn't say all that.
Am I correct? I believe your uncle, Melvin Dodd, is the. I have appointed him, and he's been appointed by others as well, so I just reappointed him. He is the guy who's in charge of the mail-in ballots. So he opens them. His assistant is there, as well as the 2 representatives from the Democratic Party. They look at that. They open them up. They make sure that the signatures, that is the only thing that we can look at to try to verify the ballots is when the signature that's signed on the ballot itself and the signature from your voter registration card. And so they do look at that, and if they don't match, they put it in another pile, and that letter is sent out saying there's a problem with you. You need to come and verify who you are so that we can count your ballot. If they don't ever show up, that ballot is not counted.
Mr. Byers, how old do you have to be a election worker?
17 or 16. I've got to look at that. I think it's 16. Is it 16, Bridget? I believe it's 16 years old. That means you are a student. That would mean that you would be a student election worker. You could not be a judge. You have to be 18 years of age to be a judge.
Would you still get paid?
She would get paid whatever
That's on
we're
my
paid.
resume?
I'm hoping this next election, and we're going to have our general election on November the 5th. I'm hoping that the county court, with my suggestion and also the suggestion of the Democratic chairman as well, both of us are together on increasing the pay for our election workers. It's getting too hard for us to find election workers without having decent pay for them. And so they're having to work a 16-hour day.
Wow.
And so they need to be paid at least a decent wage. And so I don't think $12 an hour is unreasonable to pay for an election worker who is basically safeguarding our elections. So that's any other questions? Now for those that are underage, you will have to send that to me. If you want to contact me, I will send you a form that needs to be filled out by your school administrator, your principal, whoever that is. If you're homeschooled, then that's going to have to be whoever does the homeschooling. Fill that out, sign it. They have to be, your grades have to be acceptable. And so if you have failing grades, you cannot be an election worker. So you have to have acceptable grades. And from your, yes, sir.
How does a person obtain their voting card? What process do you go through to become a registered voter?
You can contact the Secretary of State and ask for a voter registration card there, or you can go to your county election administrator, which is just down off of the square, right there on the square. It'll say Upshur County Elections on the door. It's over by what used to be our post office. It's over in that area. That's the election office over there. You can go there, get a voter card, fill it out, give it back to her. And then she will add you to the election roll. You also can do it when you renew your driver's license. They will ask you, do you want to enroll in voting and so on there. And then you will receive a card in the mail stating the fact that you are on the voter rolls. You do not need that card to come. I know a lot of people bring those voter cards to the election. You do not need that. The only thing that you need is your picture ID. That's it. So we accept driver's licenses. We accept military IDs. We accept your handgun permit. We accept the
Passports?
passport. Yes, ma'am. Passport. And I think, we also a citizen's card. So if you have a card that says you are a nationalized citizen of the United States, which when you when you come over here, if you immigrate over here, you have to go through courses and all of that. And they give you an ID stating, in fact, you are now a citizen of the United States. And so that we will take that. We will also take just a state ID. So you could go in, and those are free. So if you have no other ID, go in to your driver's license, where you get your driver's license, ask for a state ID, a state voter ID, and those are free. So they will do that for you, and so there really is no reason for not having an ID, because we do give out free IDs. And so, although there is provisions for those who do not have what is called hardship as far as being able to get ID. But that's all you need. Just bring your picture ID. Unfortunately, there is one person in the state of Texas that is going, that is employed by the Secretary of State. Only one person that's verifying whether you're a citizen or not. And so, though very few, so you go and you fill out your registration card, very few people actually get checked. And that's something that we do need to change. We really do. We need to spend some money to have, to hire people to verify who are citizens on our registration. Thank you. Again, it was a privilege. Thank you very much.
Thank you.